Shinjo still takes care of her mandarin trees every day. These two women live in Okinawa, in the village of Ojimi. On the other On a remote island between the East China Sea and the Pacific Ocean, this 100-year-old is being honored today as an icon of longevity. At 101 years old, Hana Shinjo still takes care of her mandarin trees every day. These two women live in Okinawa, in the village of Ojimi. On the other side of the world, in California, centenarian Herb Wills keeps fit and healthy. Just like 99-year-old Alice Robbins. Sardinian Giuseppe Marino, who's 105, still tends to his vines and enjoys the fruits of his labor at every meal. And in Bayonne, France, Odette Dallas is about to celebrate her 102nd birthday. In just a few decades, the number of centenarians worldwide has risen from several hundred to hundreds of thousands. To discover the secret of their longevity, researchers are studying them in the four corners of the world. They want to find out how these men and women, who defy the laws of time, have made it to the century mark. They want to explain why our questions and fears about the limits to life and the aging of the population are focused on today's centenarians. Our journey to discover the secrets of long life begins in Japan, on the island of Okinawa, the land of the immortals. Elders are worshipped here. The Japanese live longer than anyone else on the planet. There are 40,000 centenarians in Japan, and 9 of them live in the
40,000 คนที่อายุเกิน100 ปีในญี่ปุ่นอ่ะใช่อายุยืนที่สุดในโลก
of Ojimi. On the outskirts of Ojimi, there's an old stone marker inscribed with the words, "At 80, you are still a child. And if at 90 someone from heaven invites you over, tell him, just go away and come back when I'm at least 100. Time expands here. It's as if the hands of the village's clocks turn differently than those in the rest of the world.
80 ยังเหมือนเด็กทารกอยู่
1/3 of Ojimi's 3,500 residents are over 65. In 1995, the World Health Organization declared it humanity's oldest village. The number of centenarians in Japan has doubled every decade since 1980. Some demographers estimate there could be as many as 1 million by the year 2050. But here, in Ojimi, people do not simply live to a ripe old age. They remain vigorous, healthy, and alert.
ยังอ่านหนังสือว่ะ
It's the month of October, or to be more precise, the 9th day of the 9th month of the lunar calendar. All the members of the Komisu family, including those who live abroad, are gathering together this morning. They wouldn't miss today's special event for the world. Mrs. Komisu is 97 today. In Okinawa, this is the age where a person officially becomes a centenarian.
แน่นอน
According to the traditional calendar, followed by the Okinawans, every 12th birthday is celebrated as a significant milestone. Reaching this final milestone is seen as an achievement. It gives those who attain it the status of living icon. This celebration, which is called Kajimaya, the Windmill Festival, is much more than a family affair. Komisu and her procession will parade through the streets of Ojimi and surrounding
เอ้ย
villages
อันนี้
all
มันอยู่
day.
ที่ไหนอยู่ใน
The
ตัว
whole
น้ำแข็งปะ
community is included in the Kajimaya
Yeah.
ceremony.
อ๋อเธอไม่ได้ไปเก็บเหรอ
It's an honor for a family to show off their centenarian. As she is cheered on by the villagers, Mrs. Komisu gives some of her longevity to the community's younger members. She shares her strength with them and in return accepts the honors and congratulations befitting her status. At the end of the day, Mrs. Komisu receives an official certificate. Then her family and friends join together to celebrate the birth of this new centenarian. In Ojimi, residents over 90 years of age are given special care and support. The very elderly are registered on a list and receive regular checkups. A range of different activities is offered to them every month. With these exercise classes, which are held 4 times a week, these 90-year-olds and centenarians do not only keep fit and strong, they also cultivate the art of being together, of being happy together. And for those who don't want to or are unable to leave their homes, the discovery of a pile of old photos is an opportunity to pay them a visit. Yoshiharu Miyagi takes care of the centenarians in his neighborhood. Several times a week, he visits Anna Shinjo, a 101-year-old woman known by everyone in Ojimi as Hana-san.
หรือไม่ทันเลย
According to the tradition, our journey to discover the secrets of long life begins in Japan, on the island of Okinawa, the land of the immortals. Elders are worshipped here. The Japanese live longer than anyone else on the planet. There are 40,000 centenarians in Japan, and 9 of them live in the village of Ojimi. On the outskirts of Ojimi, there's an old stone marker inscribed with the words, "At 80, you are still a child. And if at 90 someone from heaven invites you over, tell him, just go away and come back when I'm at least 100. Time expands here. It's as if the hands of the village's clocks turn differently than those in the rest of the world. 1/3 of Ojimi's 3,500 residents are over 65. In 1995, the World Health Organization declared it humanity's oldest village. The number of centenarians in Japan has doubled every decade since 1980. Some demographers estimate there could be as many as 1 million by the year 2050. But here, in Ojimi, people do not simply live to a ripe old age. They remain vigorous, healthy, and alert. It's the month of October, or to be more precise, the 9th day of the 9th month of the lunar calendar. All the members of the Komisu family, including those who live abroad, are gathering together this morning. They wouldn't miss today's special event for the world. Mrs. Komisu is 97 today. In Okinawa, this is the age where a person officially becomes a centenarian. According to the traditional calendar, followed by the Okinawans, every 12th birthday is celebrated as a significant milestone. Reaching this final milestone is seen as an achievement. It gives those who attain it the status of living icon. This celebration, which is called Kajimaya, the Windmill Festival, is much more than a family affair. Mrs. Komisu and her procession will parade through the streets of Ojimi and surrounding villages all day. The whole community is included in the Kajimaya ceremony. It is an immense honor for a family to show off their centenarian. As she is cheered on by the villagers, Mrs. Komisu gives some of her longevity to the community's younger members. She shares her strength with them and in return accepts the honors and congratulations befitting her status. At the end of the day, Mrs. Komisu receives an official certificate. Then her family and friends join together to celebrate the birth of this new centenarian. Ojimi, residents over 90 years of age are given special care and support. The very elderly are registered on a list and receive regular checkups. A range of different activities is offered to them every month. With these exercise classes, which are held 4 times a week, these 90-year-olds and centenarians do not only keep fit and strong, they also cultivate the art of being together, of being happy together. Those who don't want to or are unable to leave their homes, the discovery of a pile of old photos is an opportunity to pay them a visit. Yoshiharu Miyagi takes care of the centenarians in his neighborhood. Several times a week, he visits Anna Shinjo, a 101-year-old woman known by everyone in Ojimi as Hana-san. Hana Shinjo was born in 1910. She is the youngest and only surviving member of a family of 5 sisters. The life of this granddaughter of a warlord, disgraced when Okinawa was annexed by Japan in 1879, has been marked by suffering and poverty. As a child, she worked in the fields, then on the emperor's great building projects. In 1932, she gave birth to her son, Seiryu.
American liberators bombed Jap-held islands in the Palau. One liberator will never return.
The Battle of Okinawa in 1945 was an immense tragedy for the islanders.
Cost in human lives is appallingly heavy.
Hana Shinjo fled to the
The
mountains.
last spirit of the Japanese soldier was
She lived through the fighting, the exodus, and then starvation in American internment camps.
Out of 108,000 Japs on the island, 101,000 had to be wiped out before victory was achieved.
The memorial in Ojimi commemorating all those who died in the Battle of Okinawa lists the names of every member of Hana Shinjo's family. Her husband, her sisters, and her parents. Only she and her son survived. Every day, 95-year-old Yasu Togoshi visits her friend Hana Shinjo. When they first met, Hana and Yasu were 11 and 5 years old respectively. The war and the years of hardship they endured made them friends for life. Together, they carry on the tradition of moais. In Okinawan culture, a moai is a group of friends, neighbors, or relatives who get together regularly to give or receive social, emotional, and occasionally financial support. According to a major medical study begun over 30 years ago by Japanese and American researchers, very elderly people with an active social life are less prone to illness and depression. The incidence of heart disease is 5 times lower among Okinawan seniors than their North American counterparts, and they suffer less from cancer and age-related diseases such as Alzheimer's. Since 1975, Dr. Makoto Suzuki has studied the lives of 2,500 centenarians in Okinawa. All of his findings are stored here in these files.
過去35年センテナリアンのうちずっと訪問しましてね、そこで心電図、エレクトカーディオグラムとか、あるいは血液を取って調べるとか、いろんなことをやりました。その結果ですね、大きなポイントは一つ、血液の中の、あるいは体の中のと言ったらいいんですか、ラジカル酸素が非常に少ない。ラジカル酸素はセニリティ、要するに老化を促進する物質ですね。
Free radicals are known to damage the body's cells and accelerate aging. The more you eat, the more free radicals your body produces. Can the Okinawans' longevity be attributed to their traditional diet? When they eat together, Hana Shinjo and her son make do with a simple meal of vegetables, tofu, local soya cheese, some rice, and a bit of fish or meat. In Naha, Okinawa's capital, a researcher is also studying the longevity secrets of the island centenarians. For gerontologist Craig Wilcox, the diet they have always eaten is a laboratory of preventive medicine.
Nutrition is very important throughout your life, and what we see with most of the centenarians in Okinawa is eating a traditional Okinawan diet, which is very low in caloric density but very nutrient dense. It's kind of the ideal diet to achieve healthy aging.
The elderly villagers of Ojimi grow most of their food. In her garden, dietitian Imi-san grows goya, a native cucumber, beans and wild herbs, vegetables not found in any local grocery store. Every day, she uses this produce to make meals for the customers at her restaurant. Ironically, this diet was born of hardship.
These people have been eating a diet that's very low in caloric density, yet it's nutritionally dense. And that was a natural phenomenon. People just didn't have access to these sugar-rich and calorie-rich foods. They had access to sweet potatoes and then green leafy vegetables, soups, there's a little bit of tofu in there, some healthy beans, a little bit of fish now and then, a little bit of lean meat now and then. This is the kind of diet that you want to eat if you want to live a long and healthy life and cut your risk for age-associated disease.
Many of these foods are eaten in the most natural form possible, raw or lightly cooked. They are the basis of a varied diet that's low in calories, yet highly nutritious. Imi-san offers more than tasty, well-balanced meals at her restaurant. She shares the secrets of Okinawa's centenarians with her customers. The restaurant practices the philosophy of Hara Hachibu. According to this Confucian-inspired adage, you must eat slowly and stop when your stomach is 80% full. Many Okinawans live by this rule and believe it is essential for a long and healthy life.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you. My name is Chia.
Our stay in Ojimi is coming to an end. But before we go, Hana Shinjo wants to share a secret with us. We have been waiting for her grandson to arrive since 6 o'clock this morning. Hana Shinjo has visited this garden every week since she was born. She inherited the small patch of land from her father, who inherited it from his father. The garden is her and her family's pride and joy. Coming here to tend to her mandarin trees is absolutely vital for her, as she is becoming weary with age and life's trials.
Most of these centenarians in Okinawa that I've met seem to have some kind of raison d'etre. You know, they have a kind of what they call an ikigai, a reason to get out of bed in the morning. You know, when you're 100, you know, I mean, every day is a gift. When you're over 100, is yet you have to view it that way. You know, if you lose the enthusiasm for living life, I mean, you're finished.
rising sun, there is a disturbing new phenomenon. Over the past several years, lifestyles have changed dramatically. With the rise of junk food and high-fat diets, the incidence of obesity and diabetes has increased threefold. Cardiovascular and cerebral diseases have risen significantly among the under 65s. But the most affected are the 20 to 40-year-olds, and the death rate in this age group has risen sharply. Today, for the first time ever, there are two very different populations in Japan. The over 65s who are going to live longer and longer, and the younger generations whose life expectancy is much shorter.
ライフスタイルというんですかね、オベシティがずっと続くようであればですね、これじゃミゼラブルになっちゃいますよ。今のセンテナリアンのライフスタイルっていうのは今までですよ、トラディショナルなライフスタイルがむしろ良かったんじゃないかと思うんで、それを若いジェネレーションに教えてあげなきゃいけない。積極的に教えることができないから、でそのエグザンプルとしてセンテナリアンがいるよということだと思うんです。これは沖縄だけの問題じゃないんじゃないでしょうか。日本全体もそうだし、外国でもそうだと思いますけど、そういう意味で私はね、まだ
Cardiovascular disease and diabetes affect 1 in 10 Americans, or 30 million people, and result in 2.5 million deaths each year. An estimated 1 in 3 Americans is obese. Obesity has become the second cause of death in the United States. 75% of American children born after the year 2000 could die before they are 70. In 1975, the United States had the third highest life expectancy among the world's 12 most developed countries. In 2009, it had the lowest. There is a place in the United States where people lead longer, healthier lives than other Americans. Loma Linda, a town 100 kilometers from Los Angeles, has 20,000 residents. A high proportion of these are over 90 years of age, and there are a dozen centenarians. This extreme longevity isn't the only thing the residents of Loma Linda have in common. They all belong to the same religious denomination. They are members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which currently has worldwide membership of 15 to 20 million. Formally established in the 19th century under the leadership of Pastor James White and his wife, Preacher Ellen White, this branch of Protestant Christianity is distinguished by its observance of Saturday as the Sabbath and a doctrine with an emphasis on health. This doctrine, created by Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, the future founder of the famous cereal brand, formed the basis of a healthcare system and was a way for the church to attract more and more members. By the start of the 20th century, the Adventist had established a presence on every continent. But the church's headquarters remained in the United States, where a number of towns, including Loma Linda, are its nerve centers. How can the Adventist doctrine influence the life expectancy of its members? Dr. Gary Frazier and his team hope to answer this question.
Today I'd like to talk a little bit
About 20 years ago, the doctor discovered that members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church live 5 to 11 years longer than their fellow Americans.
Is it just the social support that they're part of a community And we know from other research that being a part of a community, whether it's a church community or a village or some other club or society, does seem to be important. Even being married or not being married, particularly for men, seems to be important. So there could be just a social support aspect to this religion question, or it could be much more specific than that. For instance, it could be having a faith in God, someone who's greater than yourself, someone who can perhaps protect and look over you, that this might give relief to anxiety and stress.
Alice Robbins is 99. A widow, she has lived for the past 6 years at Loma Linda Valley, an Adventist institution for the church's most elderly members. Alice chose this religion in 1928 when she met her future husband, a pastor. Her faith has never left her.
I read the Bible about the first thing in the morning. I repeat the Bible text, and I get up about 5 o'clock and I pray, and then I read the Bible till perhaps 6:15. The Bible is so important to me. And what I like about the Bible, it is so sensible. It tells us exactly how to live. For instance, in the book of Proverbs, it says there's a time to laugh and there's a time to refrain from laughing. And I like to laugh a lot. And then there's also a text, let me see. It says, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine. So I like that text. I like to be merry and happy, but sensible. Good morning. Hi. Hi, Alice. She's the other Alice. Hi, Gertrude. What, honey?
Alice has her breakfast at 6:30 every morning. Like many Adventists, she is a vegetarian. The church has always advocated a healthy lifestyle. Its members must abstain from tobacco, alcohol, meat, caffeinated drinks, and spices. Every morning for the past 80 years, Alice has eaten fruits, cereals, nuts, and grains. The only infringement of the doctrine, a glass of soya milk and a slice of wholemeal bread 2 or 3 times a week.
Yes, please.
Dr. Gary Fraser believes the Adventist dietary habits lessen the risk of heart disease and some forms of cancer, of which many Americans are victims.
That the people that are more religious are the people that are more likely to be vegetarian, more likely to be interested in their health because it's actually part of our religion, perhaps more likely to be physically active. And so it could be that the religious faith operates in part by changing behavior as well.
It's been a nice day, even though it's maybe a little rainy. Well, I'm just about a few months away from being 100, and I do praise the Lord. I think He kept me all these years. But it's not only my faith in Him, I believe in following health principles. I have followed that diet most of my life, and I think it has been a wonderful help to me.
Bend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cross 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Flop 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, everyone, see you tomorrow.
Is 100 years old. This widower, father of 3,